It's your girl, Michelle D.I., Mrs. Divine Intervention herself. To all my helper bees out there, you know who you are. Those that are always helping everyone else and neglecting yourself. Yes, boo, look in the mirror. I'm talking to you. Here to let you know God has not forgotten about you. I've been sent on divine assignment. It's time for Reflections Choosing Me Guilt Free. That means 30 minutes for your mind, your body, spirit, and emotions. And don't act like you don't have time. You have time for everyone and everything else. Sit back and relax because if you're here, that means this show is for you or it's for someone you know. But most likely, it's for both of y'all. Deep breaths, love. Let's go. Hey family, hey family, hey family. It is your girl, Michelle Allen Franklin. Yes, Mrs. Michelle D.I. Why? You know, boo, for divine intervention, because there are no coincidences in this world, only God's divine intervention in our lives. And Mrs. Community Builder, why? Because you know your girl's going to give you the good information, the things you need for your mind, your body, your spirit, and your emotions. And family, y'all know if you're hearing your girl's voice, it's Monday. It is Monday, August the 4th. Thank you, Lord. We are in a new month. August the 4th, 2025. And your girl, yeah, I'm still here, boo. I'm still on the radio. Hey, boo. Hey, family. How y'all doing? Happy Monday to you. You know, your girl is feeling blessed to be here. Well, family, we're going to jump right on into it. You know, we are in the middle of a series. We started a series last Monday called Hot Girl Summer. Now, before I get into it, I just need to give you a message. I have a beautiful spirit, one of my good friends, First Lady Caldwell. Erica Caldwell sent me this, and I just want to give them a shout out. They are so gracious. Every year, they invite me to come and speak at their church, at their women's group every October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm so grateful. God is blessing them with a new church family. They have a new church home. It is Greater Live Cold Church. They are having a homecoming and a revival, a homecoming revival to celebrate their new church grand opening. It is going to be Sunday, August the 17th is the kickoff service at 3:00. Then they have revival services that week, Wednesday, August the 20th, Thursday, August 21st, and Friday, August the 27th at 7 p.m. I'm going to tell you what, do yourself a favor and try to make it down there. The senior pastor is Pastor Reginald Caldwell. Y'all know that Reverend Caldwell. Yes, Pastor Caldwell down there at Greater Live Cold Church. It is 11706 County Road 4307. That is LaRue, Texas 75780. That's right down there past Coffee City. Y'all know y'all drove down there to get y'all some. Y'all drove down to Coffee City. It wasn't that far when you trying to go down there and get you something to drink. Go ahead down there and get you some of that good living water. Get you some of that good living water down there with the Caldwells, honey. That's going to be amazing. I'm so grateful to know them and to celebrate with them and their church. That's a blessing to get a new church. Yeah, some people was putting toward the building fund, and the building fund paid off. I know that's right. And if you can't come, then best believe they are taking. Yeah, they'll take some change to help with it, pay the building off. Yeah, they'll help. They doing great things down there. Again, love the Greater Live Cold Church family. And thank you to First Lady Erica Caldwell. She has always just been a blessing to me. And so just wanted to give you that one announcement before we go into our series. Y'all know your girl is always having the uncomfortable, but yes, necessary conversations that we need to have with who, boo? you need to have with yourself, honey. It's Reflections Choosing Me Guilt Free. Y'all know we on the radio every Monday at 1 p.m. But your girl has a podcast because we only have 30 minutes. And so for all of this that we're talking about anytime, I guess I just start trying to give a little pre-warning because it is very a little traumatic because we do talk about childhood trauma. We talk about just the unprocessed things that in your subconscious mind that you may not know are there, and they can be triggering at times. And so it just laid in my spirit that I'll just start giving just a little pre-warning. Now, if at any time you are feeling any kind of way and you need to speak to somebody and you may be seeing a therapist, but maybe you can't see your therapist until next month or next week or whatever it is, you can always pick up your phone and dial 988. 988 is not only the suicidal crisis line, it is a mental health resource at any given time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They are always available. With a therapist answers the phone, a counselor answers the phone. You don't have to wait for anybody. They answer and they are ready and available nationwide in the United States to speak with you. Okay. So just always keep that in mind. If you're ever listening to your girl and you're feeling some kind of way, you have that resource ready and available to you. Now, last week again, we started this series, Hot Girl Summer, and we were talking about how trauma is not what happens to you, but what happens inside of you as a result of what happened. That was Dr. Gabor Mate. He is an amazing psychologist that does a lot of teaching. You can YouTube him. He has multiple books. Very good. But we talked about girls being labeled fast after coping with early sexual abuse or exposure, parental neglect or abandonment, hypersexuality due to adultification in Black and brown girls. That means growing up too fast, right? That's a fancy way to say it. And then the nervous system being stuck in survival mode, freeze, fawn, or just to perform. And so last week, your girl only had 30 minutes. I ran out of time, but I wanted to I gave you last week Louise Hay. We gave some journal prompts. So we did a little prayer, but a call to action I wanted to give you. And you can still do this as we continue our series. But the call to action to just reclaiming just a piece of you. I want you to do this. You want to choose a photo of yourself as a child or a teen. And I want you to write a love letter to her. Tell her the truth that she was never fast, she was never too much, she was always worthy of protection and love. Let me say that again. Write a letter to yourself, to that little girl. And men, y'all can do this too to that little boy because some of y'all are heartbroken out there as well. Tell her the truth, right? She was never fast. She was never too much. She was always worthy of protection and love. Fellas, you were never too much, right? Some of y'all out there struggling with adult ADHD, a childhood ADHD, and y'all were not diagnosed and y'all were considered just the bad boys and y'all were too bad. Y'all were always getting into trouble, right? Mm-hmm. You are always worthy of protection and love. You were never too much. Read it out loud to yourself and then speak this. I reclaim the girl they misunderstood. Fellas, I reclaim the boy they misunderstood. I welcome the woman God is restoring. Fellas, I welcome the man that God is restoring, right? That is just, I didn't have time to give that to you last week, but that is, the ending of part one that we started. This week in part two, I want to go into just a little bit more detail. And how does this hot girl show up in the Bible? How does this hot girl show up in the Bible? And so today, episode 2, we are doing She's Let that go. The power of release and returning to self. Okay? She's let that go. The power of release and returning to self. So I want to ask you, what have you been carrying that doesn't belong to you? Who handed you that shame? And why are you still holding it? We talked about that, right? Who handed you that shame and why are you still holding it? So I want to go into the Bible and I want to talk about the woman at the well really quickly. Y'all, I'm not a preacher. I'm just a servant that is very obedient to God's word. And this is what he gave me, the Samaritan woman. She was labeled in society. If you could just imagine her, you know, as being the fast girl. Back in the day. She was the fast girl. Why? Because she had 5 husbands and was living with a man who wasn't her husband. Can you see her? Yeah. Why? In my mind, I'm picturing her. People were talking about her all around in the town. Everybody's talking about her because, when I started studying her and looking at things, why did she go to get her water later? Because they said the women typically went in the morning when it was cool, but she came to draw the water alone around noontime. They said that's the hottest part of the day, which was very unusual. This would suggest that she was avoiding a judgment. Y'all know how we do when somebody is different. Somebody you think is doing more than what they supposed to be doing. Somebody you consider fast. Oh, girl, I heard she did this. Oh, she did it, girl. She got 5 husbands. Oh my goodness. And she with a man right now. He ain't even her husband. Blah, 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 blah. Right, baby. I'm tell you what, us Christians, baby, we about the most judgiest people. I'ma tell you now about the most judgiest people. So she went, I would think, to avoid the judgment and the whispers of the other women, because she was that girl, huh? Yeah. Can you imagine? She was the one they said, oh, honey, don't let your son go with her. They warned their sons about her, the ones that they rolled their eyes at. But Jesus was there at the well and met her right there in that shame, not by accident, I would say on purpose, right? He saw her humanity and not just her history. And so he says, John 4 and 18, uh, Jesus said to her, you have had 5 husbands, and the man you now have is not your husband. But Jesus did not shame her. He spoke the truth, but gentle with no judgment. He validated what she had been through. This wasn't about being promiscuous. This was about pain, possible loss, rejection, and or maybe even survival, right? Many girls that are labeled fast, quote unquote fast girls, have been abandoned or divorced multiple times, right? And women couldn't divorce back in the day in that culture. Think that she was being passed around or taken advantage of, like some girls that are considered the fast girls are being passed around and taken advantage of? Do you think that maybe she was trying to survive through relationships because she needed help financially or just socially, right? Just because, you're supposed to be married. So I need to get another husband real quick so the people won't talk about me. And that surviving financial piece, think about it. And how many women, how many times or how many situations have you been in where, I know I've been in a lot of situations where I say, Lord, I wish I had my husband here to help me. Y'all know I'm divorced, right? I wish I had a husband. I wish I had a husband to help me in this situation. I wish I didn't have to go through this alone. How many times have you gone through that or even said that to yourself, right? And men, even you been in situations to say, man, I wish I wasn't handling this situation alone. A lot of people get married for that reason, just because they don't want to be alone. So when we think about the woman in the well, Jesus was sitting there and he was talking to her. And it was so funny as I was reading the story and these little things were popping out to me. But he was talking to her and he was telling her, about drinking this water. And at first he asked her, you could tell she didn't know who he was, right? And she didn't know. And so she's saying he's asking for some water and she's like, you're of another culture. Like, I can't even, what do you mean water? She's trying to figure out like what are you talking about? And so Jesus is telling her, whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Right? That's John 4:14. Whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. She really still didn't get it initially. But eventually, as he told her about, you've had these 5 husbands and told her about her story, then she knew it had to be him because she said we were waiting for that person to come. We're waiting for that Messiah, that man to come, right? And when she realized it wasn't about religion, it wasn't about status, it wasn't about who you were. He offered her that restoration. She no longer had to look for love in the arms of men. He offered her a way out of the cycle, emotionally, spiritually, and through a relationship. And then it's so beautiful because he chose her to be the messenger. When you look this up and say she was the first evangelist in Samaria. Because what did she do? She ran off, honey, telling everyone about that good news. Come see a man who told me everything I ever did. Yes, come see a man who told me about everything I ever did. And the same people who may have been shaming her, she went and told them about her healing, and then they began to come, right? So not only did he offer her to take away that shame, right, that she may have been feeling. So from shame to anointed, from rejected to revived, from fast to faithful messenger. Come on, Lord. We're talking about the wounded ones, right? The wounded messenger. Are you a wounded messenger? Is God waiting for you to come to him? And please understand, just because you go to church every Sunday, I'm going to say it, just because you go to church every Sunday does not mean you're not a wounded daughter, right? Most of us are wounded daughters. I know I was wounded going to church every Sunday. And that's why this is so important. And so I'm so passionate about teaching and teaching to this extent in this degree. And I don't mind being transparent about any part of my journey because I was watching people and I still watch people go to church every Sunday broken. Go to church every Sunday faking the funk. Go to church every Sunday pretending like they have a relationship, but they don't. And so it is understanding once you get to a point of, I'm tired of pretending. No, I really want a real relationship with God. I don't want to be on autopilot with my relationship because I know what the pastor's going to say. I know how to walk in. I know how to sing on the choir. I know how to play the piano. I know how to preach the word. I know how to do the things. I've been coming to church my whole life. I know all of the scriptures. Oh, I know that story. Right? It's one thing to live it. It's one thing to breathe it. It's one thing to be it. It's one thing to come and allow Jesus to really get into your heart. It's one thing to allow that living water to come and cleanse you. Right? So that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother thing. That is making room. Jonathan McReynolds has this song as one of my favorite songs. I will make room for you. Like, are we making room for him? Are we making room for him? Once you acknowledge, you feel something. Are we making room for him? She came broken and left with a whole new identity. If you're walking around the same, boo, you're walking around unseen, unchosen, unloved, with those feelings. He's still right there, waiting, waiting for you. He's always been there waiting for you, right? He's always been there looking and waiting. So what are we doing? Can we be like the woman in the well, like thinking, oh, this is never going to happen to me, or this is always going to be my situation? And then how long did it take for him to just shift things around? Not long. It's looking a little bit deeper through the lens of trauma. You know what I mean? Was she abandoned early? How did she get into that situation? How did you get into your situation? Did you equate attention with love? We do that. I talked about on the last episode of watching these young guys these older men, watching these older men as I walk out the door, trying to talk to us. And some of my friends would fall for that conversation because it was attention that they wasn't given. Did you equate attention with love? Was she passed around from man to man because her worth was never spoken to her? Have you been passed around from man to man, not knowing your worth? How easy. And sometimes it's not even like, oh, I haven't been physically passed around, but you've been in different relationships and allowed yourself to be in different relationships. When I did my self love, just look at myself, and this again is on Reflections, Choosing Me Guilt Free under the self love, um, in the self love podcast. When I did that little inventory, if you would have just asked me, did I have a problem with self love? I would have said, are you crazy? No, I love myself. Right? Just like I could just imagine. You said, no, are you crazy? I know I love myself. But guess what? My actions were not aligning with my words. When you allow yourself to be in and out of relationships of people, men and women, that are not even worthy of your time, your space, your energy, that's a self love issue. If you are overweight, that's a self love issue. Do you love yourself enough? Right? I'm not saying nothing to you that I haven't said to me. That's why I am sharing my journey. And it's not a race, y'all. And again, this is not judgment, it is just an acknowledgement, right? If you don't take the time to acknowledge what it is, how will you fix it? Dr. Gabor Mate, I love him. He teaches that addiction, whether to substances, people, attention, is not about weakness. It's about pain, boo. It's about pain. Louise Hay reminds us we repeat patterns not because we want to suffer, but because we're trying to resolve something. It again is in the subconscious realm, right? It is in the subconscious mind. And it is maybe she wasn't thirsty. Maybe she was tired, right? And maybe you are tired too. Again, Jesus didn't shame her. So this is not about shame. Guilt and shame are some nasty twins. I call them demonic twins, right? That only grace and mercy, I feel like, can beat up each and every time. Right? Go get your cousins, grace and mercy. Remember back in the day when you got into a fight? When shame and guilt show up? Yeah, you look at them just like that. I'm going to get my big cousins, grace and mercy. Right? And that's who you get for that, because this is not about shame. Jesus didn't shame her. He didn't call her fast. He didn't call her out of her name, but he only wanted to call her up. He said, if you knew the gift of God, you'd ask me for the living water. Yes, he told her everything she ever did, not to expose her, but to free her. She dropped the water jar. The thing she came for, right? We're walking around here thinking we're coming for one thing, and then, it's amazing how God's divine intervention gives us something else. I know you thought you was gonna be on the radio just listening to, you know what I mean? It's great, easy, like nice, comfortable show. I know. I know you did. You was not expecting all of this. I know. I know, but honey, God's divine intervention and his divine timing is amazing. She dropped her water jar, the thing that she came for, and she ran back into town saying, "Come and meet a man who told me everything I ever did." So, sis, when I'm telling you, you know what that means. She finally met someone who saw her. And is that all we really want, really, from men? Is for them to see us and not walk away and not try to take advantage, right? And not try to use our weaknesses to their advantage, right? Is that all we want? I know for a period of time when I was dealing with this weight, I didn't know that this weight was attached to assault. I didn't know that this weight was attached to protection. There was a period of time that I didn't want to be seen, right? There was a period of time I didn't want to be seen. After, being over sexualized so much, so much, so much, it was a period of time I didn't even do my hair. I went from some years in nursing school, did not really fix my hair. I had gained some weight. At that time, I was 100 and probably 25, 35 pounds when I was pregnant with my 30-year-old. At delivery, I was 147 pounds. Okay. It went back down. So you imagine now I'm over 100 pounds more than I was, right? Back then. Why? Because it's periods of points in time where, women we don't even want to be seen. I know someone can relate to that. It's not subconscious. I mean, it's not, of course, it's conscious. Of course, it's in the subconscious. And so it is coming out of that. And how do you do that? It's a spiritual, emotional, and physical release. We have to get to a point where release is the word. And what does that actually look like? It's a confession, baby. You got to acknowledge it. It's a surrender. It's saying, God, I give you this pain, this pattern, this label, whatever it is. We talked about journaling last week. Journaling, it is therapeutic. It's speaking your truth out loud and not shrinking back. It might be crying. It might be to rest. It might be dancing your way free. What Mary say? Took the shackles off my feet so I can dance. Yes. I just want to praise him, honey. Sometimes you are so shackled in your mind that you don't even realize that you hold the key. You have these shackles around you, and the whole time they're unlocked, babe. They are unlocked. You just have to pull it off and believe and trust that the Lord has you. The gate is already open. So it's dancing your way free. Your body remembers what your mind forgets. I'm going to say that again. We talked about The Body Keeps the Score last week. That is a book. The body remembers what your mind forgets. Dr. Bradley Nelson is another amazing person. He has a book. It's called The Emotion Code. All the times I told you that about how emotions show up in your body, the swelling, the inflammation, all of that, Dr. Bradley Nelson writes about it. And it's so amazing. When the first time I read this book and he talked about how anger shows up, my body was swollen, and all of the places was my belly and my thighs. And it coincided with his map. Everything that I was feeling coincided with the emotional map. It's amazing. It is Dr. Bradley Nelson, and his book is called The Emotion Code. You can YouTube that as well. But it's trapped emotions that live in the body until they are released. So the woman at the well released her shame when she dropped the jar. What do you need to drop, boo? Here's an affirmation before we go. I am not what they called me. I am not my past. I am not fast. I was just hurting. I am worthy of love and I am still chosen. Well, there it is, boo. Another episode. Join me next week, honey. Because we're going to be back wrapping up this hot girl summer. Well, family, this has been another divine intervention. Thank you for tuning in to Reflections Choosing Me Guilt Free with your girl, Miss Michelle D.I. Every week, we will have the uncomfortable but necessary conversations as it relates to your mind, your body, your spirit, and emotions. You suffered long enough. It's time to break free. So join me every Monday at 1 p.m. right here on KGLD Radio, where you can fill your spirit with gospel all day long. See you next week.